Welcome, my friends and enemies. Glad you are here. I'm your host, High Inquisitor Doman, and a bit of a strange topic because I haven't talked about it in a hot minute. I don't think I've ever talked about it on this channel, and I don't think I've talked about it in private really that much. So we're gonna, I guess, jump right into it. But I would imagine if you've played games at any point in time in the 2000s, you know who Master Chief is. Safe to say, understandably. And if you haven't played any video games in the 2000s, you still probably know who Master Chief is because you've seen the giant cardboard cutouts, you've seen people cosplaying as him in any number of ways, and you also may have heard of the unfortunate TV show that did not do the games or books justice. Technically, the games came first, just like to point that out. But yeah, so we've caught wind of a remake for Halo Combat Evolved. Now, that was actually, I had it for PC before I had it for not Game Boy. Wow, not Game Boy, for Xbox. I got it. What is it, Hastings or something like that? Like, I got it at a place and I bought it. It was like $35 at the time, which is amazing. But I got it, put it on my computer, and I played the ever-loving snot out of it because I didn't have an Xbox at the time. But I loved it. And I still have it in box over there on my giant PC and gaming rack. For console gaming, I should say. And I ended up finally picking up Halo 2 for PC. And I don't really need either of those, technically speaking, because I have Master Chief Collection for Steam, but I like having the physical copies. It kind of gives me that retro feel of, wow, I have this box, and it's in moderately good condition, and it's got the CD keys and all that fun stuff attached to it. Bring back the old stuff, basically. And I played the snot out of the first 3 Halos. I played a ton of Halo 1, and then I moved on to Halo 2, and Halo 2 was crazy. It was just mind-blowing just how crazy it was. It was fun. We got double SMGs and just running around, and so much fun. And then 3 came out, and we played, obviously, the most of that, because, I mean, everybody played that. I remember going over to my buddy's house, and we'd play, like, starting at, like, 6 in the afternoon or something like that, and then we'd get done at, like, 8 in the morning. And then ODST came out, and I considered ODST an extension of 3, and I actually liked ODST a lot. I never played 4. I didn't play Reach. I didn't play anything past ODST. And my buddy and I would play the firefight mode on ODST, and we would sit there, and we had an 8-hour for one map. We played for 8 hours on that single map, wave after wave coming at us, and we just got like god tier, legendary tier with every weapon, because you run out of ammo for one, you'd have to kill somebody, pick up their weapon, kill somebody with them, pick up that weapon, kill somebody with them, pick up that weapon. You just repeat the process, and just the 2 of us for 8 hours straight, and had a blast. It's so much fun. So Halo's had a pretty big spot in my heart. Unfortunately, when Call of Duty Black Ops came out and I bought that, the control schematic was so different, I couldn't figure out heads or tails. Like, I was completely bad at Call of Duty. But then when I went back to Halo, I apparently just sucked, and I was just like, what is going on? Because the schematics of each just like were trying to override each other in my brain, and I couldn't figure it out. So I dropped both of them for 3 months. And then after the 3 months, I came back and I picked up Black Ops, and I could play it fine. Because I grew up in Call of Duty, the original like World War II games, and Medal of Honor and stuff like that. I grew up on the PC versions of those. Excuse me. And it just clicked. It's like, oh, this is a natural system. Where Halo was a very weird system. It still is a weird system. And if they updated the schematics a little bit to be more familiarized with people who are familiar with just shooters in general, like first-person shooters. Same thing as I want them to upgrade for like the Switch Online. I want them to upgrade the schematic, or like customize the schematic for 007 James Bond GoldenEye, because it's not being able, like, the right being the left analog stick and I can't switch them is really freaking weird, and I cannot play it. It's unplayable which I want to be able to play it with a standard, like whether it be Xbox or whether it be PlayStation, whatever it might be. I want to be able to play with a controller. It's not necessarily an N64 controller, because the N64 controller has basically your aim and move the same thing, and it's very weird now. Where when I was a kid, that was the only option, so my brain was wired to it. And this is kind of like the nostalgic factor where you're like, oh man, this game was great, this game's fire, it's fantastic. And then you get there to play it, and you can't, because you've grown up on a whole bunch of different schematics, and now it's kind of like sitting there floating and lost. So I haven't really been able to enjoy that either, and I wish I could. I know they've done a couple James Bond versions, and I think they're trying to remake GoldenEye. I don't remember. But if they do it right, I'll play the snot out of it, because it was so much fun. I had GoldenEye and 2 other 64 James Bond games. I don't remember which they were, but I remember playing multiplayer with my friends. So much fun. So much fun. We had some funny moments. We've had some like annoying moments where we're just like mad at each other because somebody got lucky and got the right thing or killed somebody before somebody else could. But we had fun. So Halo has been there a long time for me. And now we're getting a remake of Combat Evolved. And it's going to be called Campaign Evolved. That is a really dumb name. Like, super dumb. Combat Evolved made sense, because Combat Evolved is saying, like, you know, you've had your Call of Duty games, but now welcome to the future, science fiction, blah, 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 blah. Like, you had like Perfect Dark, you had a whole bunch of other games like that were like futuristic shooters and stuff. But this was like the next step, thus evolved. And it was Combat Evolved because you're playing basically a super soldier that can do crazy things, is super strong, and, you know, he's Master Chief. He's freaking unkillable. Like, that's the whole point. So Campaign Evolved doesn't make any sense, because it's like, are you trying to say that the campaign against the Covenant evolved? Because technically speaking, they didn't exist yet. But the combat was still there, and the combat was still evolved. So it's a very, I don't know, it's a weird way to call it for a game that doesn't really respond the same way. But maybe they'll get it right. Now we're going to learn a couple things. I have a couple articles to read for you guys. So we'll go ahead and read them. So from the HaloWaypoint.com, introducing Halo Campaign Evolved, coming to Xbox, PC, and PlayStation 2026. This ain't running on Switch. And here you got Master Chief and Cortana. A good-looking Cortana, to be fair. I don't know if that'll be what she looks like in the actual game, because some of those Halo games were pretty rough. Now, I do want to put forward the obvious disclaimer. The people who worked on Combat Evolved 2, 3, I think even 4, ODST, and like Reach, they aren't there anymore. It's a totally different studio that worked for Microsoft that did that. I think that was Bungie. This is 343, which now is like Halo Studios or whatever it's called now. So do not expect them to necessarily go in being like, we need to respect the source material. They don't have any inclination to do so, because they're not the same people, that they don't have the same care for it. Now, don't get me wrong, they could care about it, but it's not their initial go-to feature. Typically like for Ghost of Tsushima versus Ghost of Yotai, they're different developers that work on it. Now, they both worked under the same name for Sucker Punch, but they were different developers. The developers for Ghost of Tsushima left, and the developers for Ghost of Yotai were new blood that came in and utilized the old developers' work to make Ghost of Yotai. So don't expect the initial amazingness that is Halo Combat Evolved in Halo Campaign Evolved. A lot of people don't make that connection. Same people who worked on Witcher 3 are not working on Witcher 4. They're different groups. The devs from Witcher 3 went and made, what was it? What was that game? Something of blood. It's the vampire game. Why am I brain farting? I'll think of it eventually. But they made a whole nother studio, bunch of those devs, because they did really good. And, something, Blood of Dawnwalker. That's what it is. Blood of Dawnwalker. I got there eventually. But they made a whole studio so they could make game, and it's a really good looking game. But it's not the same people that are working on Witcher 4. They're totally separate, and you can tell that by the characters. Ciri doesn't look the same. Geralt's not going to look the same, even if he shows up hardly at all. It's going to be a different type of game because different people work on it. So I want to throw that disclaimer out there. So don't go in expecting the world changing for you. We're pleased to announce that our next game, Halo Campaign Evolved, will be a ground-up remake of Halo Combat Evolved's genre-defining campaign, coming to Xbox Series X, S, PC, and PlayStation 5 in 2026. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is the campaign only. This is not multiplayer, which I believe multiplayer will be released later on. Featuring new missions. Oops, I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit. Featuring new missions, expanded gameplay, 2-player split screen on consoles. Why not on PC? But online and networked co-op for up to 4 players on console and PC. So I mean, we can do co-op still, thankfully. We can do that on Master Chief's Collection. So whatever. And seamless cross-platform play with shared progression. It will be the definitive return trip through one of gaming's greatest journeys. Also, fire soundtrack. Enjoy our first release concept art above. This gives me some hope, except she's way too tall because he's a titan. He's huge. So she's like at 6'6" right now. like she's huge. So I wouldn't say the scale's very accurate, but whatever. And watch our roundtable reveal for a look at the gameplay for Halo Combat Evolved, or Campaign Evolved, and an in-depth commentary from the Halo Studios development team. I wasn't going to watch it just because they're going to release better stuff as it gets closer. A Ring Reforged. So this is the updated pre-release build with the work in progress. And don't get me wrong, some of it looks really, really nice. Others could use a bit more touch-up. One of the big ones was the Warthogs. The Warthogs in the first Combat Evolved look better than the Warthogs in the remake. Now, keep in mind, this is completely, as far as what I remember seeing prior to this, this is completely rebuilt from the ground up in Unreal Engine 5. And that could have problems because Unreal Engine 5 has some issues, we'll say, that cause devs problems. Halo Campaign Evolved invites you to explore reverently realized environments and enhanced missions that capture the wonder and mystery of the original Halo tale. Now, I really want this to be true. I've been hurt too many times. I really want this to be true. But I don't want just the environments. I want the characters to be themselves. I don't want anything changed about the characters. They need to be the way they were in the first game. The vistas and monumental set pieces you'll encounter in Halo Campaign Evolved faithfully evoke the grandeur of Halo Combat Evolved's narrative and scenery, completely rebuilt with high-definition visuals, improved controls, and refined level design. Now, hopefully that means they've made it more streamlined FPS shooter. That would be great. Expanded gameplay. Halo Campaign Evolved expands the Master Chief's original adventure with new missions, enhanced cinematics, more weapons, vehicle improvements, and more skulls than ever. For those of you who don't know, skulls are things you can use to unlock stuff. New missions. Fight beside Sergeant Avery Johnson, one of the Master Chief's most beloved and stalwart allies, as you encounter new characters, enemies, environments, and dangers in 3 new missions set before the events of Halo Combat Evolved. So we got 3 new missions added. So instead of starting on the Pillar of Autumn and going from there, you will now be in something else. 3 other missions. I suppose that's getting to this point. Stunning cinematics. Battle through all of Halo Combat Evolved's iconic moments with enhanced cinematics featuring the new motion capture animations and freshly recorded dialogue from returning cast members. That could be cool. If they do it good and they do it right, that could be fantastic. Enhanced audio. Immerse yourself in heroic exploits with remastered soundtrack. That's a little... Remastered soundtracks are questionable. The reason they're questionable is because I've, like, for example, can't really see me. Give me a second. All right, so I'm wearing an August Burns Red shirt. This is the Thrill Seeker. This is the Eve of the End shirt. For those of you know, you know. If you don't know, I pity you. Eve of the End and the Seventh Trumpet are like the best two songs that like follow each other, and they're literally part of each other. It's great. But they released their album, which is right here. Oops. It's a little dusty. And I have the original. That's the remake. That's the remaster. And it doesn't sound the same. It lost something in the recording. They made it too clean. And that's what I'm worried about, is because when it comes to audio, and I am very particular about audio as a musician myself, I don't like when they clean things up too much. Now, you can clean up things that are like, it's a necessity to clean them up because it sounds bad in the original, like crackling and stuff like that. Totally understandable. But when it changes the entire sound, I still go back to the original Thrill Seeker and listen to that over the new one. Even though I support them on the new one and I like the new one, I like the older one better. It's just better. It's more raw. It's more true to the band at that time, where they remade it because it was the only album that Jake wasn't on. And it was phenomenal. Not because Jake wasn't on it, but because it was just done so well with Josh. And there are things I'm worried that they'll do. Like, imagine the title screen for Halo coming in and then it sounding weird. Like, we've grown up 20 some years listening to Halo and hearing that title sound, and then hearing the like the Gregorian chant and everything. Like, we grew up listening to that, and now it might be different, and I don't like that because it's already peak as it is. So they'd have to do some crazy stuff to make it better, because whatever they do change will change our reaction to it. We'll say that there's something off about this. And that's what I'm worried about in that regard. But less of me and more of the article. And fully rebuilt sound design that brings Halo's unmistakable weapons and vehicles to life in stunning fidelity. That could be good, but I don't know what the difference would be, or if it'd be enough at all. Just listen to those glorious hunters shoot. Yeah. Remember you of the what are they? The boomers from it's funny they call it boomers, but from Gears of War, like, just blows up. It's great. But expanded arsenal, wield 9 additional weapons from the Halo universe for the first time in Halo Combat Evolved. Battle the Covenant with the energy sword, battle rifle, needle rifle, and more instantly recognizable Halo weapons alongside tried and true standbys from the Master Chief's first journey. That could be interesting. I didn't like the battle rifle when I first played 2. I think it was in 2 when it was released. It might have been 3. I don't remember. They all blend together. But I didn't really like the battle rifle. Now that I'm older, I'm like, I actually like the battle rifle. Because I used to just use the assault rifle. Because that's all you had to do is get their shield down and pop them, and they're done. So that could be good. That could be good. Vehicle upgrades. For the first time in Halo Combat Evolved, the Master Chief can hijack nearby enemy vehicles and add range to his repertoire at the helm of a Wraith tank. Better still, the dependable Warthog now boasts an additional seat on the rear bumper, so your whole 4-player fire team can ride out together. That could be fun. A legendary, like, again, if this game is as boss as I think it is, or not think it is, as I hope it is, we're getting the boys together for another run of the legendary, baby, and we're gonna rip the place to pieces. And it's gonna be a blast. Dozens of skulls return to any mission in Halo Campaign Evolved and Remix your experience with the most gameplay modifying skulls of any Halo campaign. Activate skulls for randomized weapons, altered enemy behavior, player attributes, environmental effects, and more. That's what they unlock. All you greenhorns who wanted to see Covenant up close, this is your lucky day. And again, this is allegedly the Unreal 5 remaster put into it. And it does look clean. It really does. But sometimes things that are clean can look too clean. Everyone's invited to this mission. For the first time in Halo history, Halo Campaign Evolved allows players to seamlessly squad up with friends playing on PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5 in both online and network co-op for up to 4 players. Experience the legendary story together from anywhere at any time with shared progression between all platforms. Console versions will support 2-player split screen for a fully immersive nostalgia factor. Conquer all 13 campaign missions with a friend for the classic confines of your favorite couch on both Xbox Series X, S, and PlayStation 5. You still gotta pay for that freaking online multiplayer, though. I hate that so much. That's why PC is superior, because you don't have to pay $80 a year to freaking even play multiplayer. Gameplay review. They have their first look and stuff. Ready to see the game in action? Check out these highlights from Silent Cartographer, the 4th mission of Halo Combat Evolved, and the setting of the playable pre-release build available to fans this week's Halo World Championship. The 4K footage in the gameplay demo was captured in engine on the Xbox Series X. You might as well put it on the PlayStation. You know what? We'll give it a shot. We will give it a shot. Let me get it set up, because I wasn't initially planning on watching this, and I probably won't watch the whole thing because it's 13 minutes long. Make sure I have sound, because we're going to need it. All right. We'll go ahead and watch this and get an idea of what it looks like.
The Covenant believe that what they call the Silent Cartographer is somewhere under this island. The Cartographer is a map room that will lead us to Halo's control center.
Grunts being grunts. Alright. That was really good, like, mouth to words, because I don't even think they had that in the original. So I did like that. Pistol overpowered. Assault rifle doesn't look bad. Oh, they also added a sprint option, which I don't think was there the first time. Well, to call me a coward when you have the same setup as I do, right? Hey!
Secure.
Affirmative. Echo 419 inbound. Somebody order a warthog.
I mean, why didn't that come with the original?
You know our motto. We deliver.
Uber Eats.
Let's go find the map room. That will show us the location of Halo's control center. I've been able to pinpoint the main facility by cross-referencing Covenant
Technically,
survey
one
data
other one
and
should be
religious
on there, but-
texts. We were right. It's on this island. I've marked the entrance with a nav plate.
How would you know? You haven't looked. I forgot all about that. Warthog's still indestructible. Let's see.
The Covenant are putting up a real fight. The cartographer must be here. My analysis indicates that the map room should be at the bottom floor of this facility.
The
Let's keep
sprint's gonna
going
be weird,
inside.
but I kind of like it.
Don't let them lock the doors.
Well, too late for that.
Interesting. I underestimated the Covenant's understanding of Halo's subsystems. We need to find the security override to get this door open. Cortana to Keys.
Go ahead, Cortana. Have you found the control center?
Negative, Captain. The Covenant have impeded our progress.
The speed drift is a little weird.
Security system.
Understood. We're still en route to the objective. I may be out of contact when we get there. Here are your orders. I want you to use any means necessary to force your way into the facility and find Halo's
Collection movement's still there.
Good luck, people. Keys out.
Let's move down the beach. Keep an eye out for any unusual structures that could house the security system.
I'm glad I'm on your side. So like the shading, some aspects look really, really nice. Here's a cinematic. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Good. That should open the door that leads into the main shaft. We need to go to the main facility. Let's head back down the beach.
Mayday! Mayday! Dropship Bravo 22 taking enemy fire! Repeat, we are under heavy fire and are losing altitude!
Understood.
Plasma grenade?
We're on our way.
Or not? I like the plasma rifle a lot. That's just me personally.
Chief, Bravo 22 was bringing us some heavy weapons. After I saw we were up against hunters, I thought you could use them.
Ragdoll effects are great. That's wild, getting rid of the pistol for an assault rifle. Also, you don't have to go through and, like... You don't have to kill every single person in the game. But yeah. That's more or less that bit. And it's not bad so far from what I can see. Seems moderately, on the same bandwagon as the original. So there you go. Timeless campaign. It is a timeless campaign. Let's see how much it stays to it. I still think campaign evolves a dumb thing to call it. Because what happens when you add multiplayer? It's no longer campaign only. They could have just said Halo Combat Evolved campaign, or Halo Combat Evolved remastered or remade. All right, return to the ring that started it all with a fresh look at the timeless campaign. Whether you're discovering Halo for the first time or returning to Alpha Halo after 25 years, Halo Campaign Evolved retells the legendary story of Halo Combat Evolved with an expanded narrative and gameplay enhancements that broaden the scope of our first encounter with the Covenant. I believe it was actually before that. In the books, anyway. And they can't wait to do stuff, blah, 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 right? Well, then we also have this article through Xbox Wire. And I'm sorry I didn't make this way. It's stupid bright. Campaign Evolved answering the big questions about this ambitious remake. A lot of the stuff we already referenced to. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Halo Combat Evolved is a modern evolution of the iconic story, thoughtfully brought to life in Unreal Engine 5 with stunning new 4K visuals, which I can appreciate, updated animations, remastered music, and re-recorded voice lines. Halo Studios is also bringing in a roster of beloved weapons and vehicles from later Halo titles, and adding 3 new bonus campaign missions, all designed to expand and celebrate the adventure that started it all. I have an extra space in that. Cooperative play, blah, 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 blah. We already know that. Head of the announcement, I was able to speak to several of these people, so... Executive producer Damon Kahn puts it, remaking the very first campaign from the ground up was a perfect opportunity to craft an ideal entry point for new players and modernize areas that could be better match today's expectations for pacing and clarity. Yes, I mean the library, and we'll get to that shortly. The library was a bit of a mess, but that was kind of its charm. We wanted to start where it all began, with the original campaign that defined Halo, Kahn explains. Starting here means people that have never played the game before will be able to understand the story from the very beginning, and that can help us chart a course forward with the new Halo stories. Focusing on the campaign experience means we can concentrate fully on really capturing the atmosphere, tone, the emotional impact that made the first campaign so special and iconic. I think these are a little too smooth when it comes to what they look like. Like, I feel like they should be more textured. But I mean, I guess if that's my biggest nitpick with the series, I'll be happy. How will Campaign Evolved preserve the Halo spirit? Keeping the classic Halo feel is, of course, of prime importance in capturing that took the team all the way back to the source material. The original Combat Evolved campaign, as it was first presented it in 2001. There's a typo. They don't have an editor, apparently. The goal was to understand how modern updates to systems and environments could complement, not replace, the essence of the original experience to make it feel just as players remember, only smoother and more seamless than ever before. The campaign had been rebuilt to feel handcrafted and immersive, true to what players remember not just visually but emotionally. Okay, well, emotion's not something you can force people to have. And that's the image we had before. Again, it looks nice, but looks aren't everything. How will Campaign Evolved update existing missions? Preserving the Halo spirit means the team has taken great care to not modernize for the sake of modernization. That's a great sign. Let's see if they actually stick to it. It's not about rebuilding Halo Combat Evolved story and spaces to fit in with a roster of today's games, but to ensure that its original feel has evolved to suit modern players. Every change has been shaped by the same question. Does this still feel like Halo? I mean, there's going to be some aspects like sprinting and having weapons that aren't in the original game that are going to make you question that, but does it at least feel like Halo 1 and 2 and 3, etc.? Because this is a remake, we've been able to carefully rebuild almost every level, every encounter with more fidelity, says Max Zlagor, creative director. As we're building the technology for this game, we've had to do it piece by piece, which included reevaluating all of the individual elements as we're revisiting them in the original game. And now the campaign supports up to 4-player co-op. We had to think about how all of the original encounters and spaces can scale to accommodate that many players. I mean, that's rather easy, honestly, comparatively to everything else you're doing. The library is a perfect example of how to demonstrate how the team is thoughtful, enhancing existing spaces in an authentic way. Halo Combat Evolved's 7th campaign mission is a key example of where it felt right to make tweaks to several areas to create a new experience that balances nostalgia with the expectations of today's gamers. I mean, if you make the game as good as the first game, today's gamers' expectations can shove it. We learned from Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary that there is still an appetite for things like better wayfinding, navigation, and diversity in enemy encounters, as Lasgore says. In the library specifically, which features several flood encounters, we wanted to reevaluate the pacing and enhance the environmental storytelling. We've added new lines to the Guilty Spark, which guide the player through the level, and there's new dialogue that gives more insight to the narrative as it plays out. We're not changing the stories. It's about refining and adding context to this moment and other levels like it so players can stay on track. Again, sounds phenomenal. Let's see if we can hold them to that. And the grunts do look really nice. He's everywhere! And for those of you who don't know, one of the greatest, I don't know if it was in Halo 2 and Halo 1, but at Halo 3, they had a skull where basically it had like birthday confetti. So if you did a headshot, it'd go, hooray! Pop out like confetti and everything. It was the funniest thing ever and made the game so much funnier. What new elements are Halo Studios adding to the original? In Halo Campaign Evolved, you'll be able to wield 9, blah, blah, blah. We already went through that. Some of the weapons we're bringing in could be used against you in Halo Combat Evolved by the enemy, but you weren't able to pick them up yourself. Now you can, and it feels natural because of how you can do that in other Halo games. It reflects the evolution of the series. I don't mind that because when they made Halo Combat Evolved, they didn't have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blah, blah, all in their heads yet. They had the one game. And them making every single game at the time probably would have been a bit more challenging. Not impossible, but they just didn't think about it. It wasn't necessary. Players can also because some of those guns didn't exist until 2 or 3. Players can also look forward to the 2 firsts in the campaign. You can now hijack vehicles and even pilot the Covenant Wraith tank for the first time in Halo, which would be nice. And that's kind of the realism aspect Halo players look for, is because we always wondered, why can't we do that? We can get into a Scorpion tank. Why can't we get into a Wraith? For challenge seekers, Halo Studios is also featuring the most skulls ever in Halo campaign for even more ways to modify the campaign experience. And perhaps most exciting, the team has added 3 brand new prequel missions set before the events of Halo Combat Evolved campaign, which introduced entirely new environments, characters, and enemies, which we'll find out about more very soon. Oh, and you can sprint now if you'd like, or disable it if you don't. That's nice. See, I want to see that in more games where you give options so someone can choose to or not to do something. I personally like sprinting because I feel like it makes the thrill of combat more realistic. So you can say, like, well, if I'm in a Battlefield game or a Call of Duty game, I should be able to sprint. Excuse me. Now, in those games, they do make it a little unrealistic because you sprint for like 6 hours straight. Not really realistic to the human body. Master Chief doesn't have that limitation. Master Chief is quite literally a super soldier who could run for 24 hours straight, 365 days of the year if you wanted to, more or less. I might be a little exaggerating that, but you get the point. Like, you expect him to do what's not normally humanly possible because he's the Master Chief. He's got the soldier serum. He's got everything you got into a powerful man weapon thing, whatever you want to call it. How are Halo Studios using Unreal Engine 5? The Halo spirit is not just about the debut's impact. The studio is effectively incorporating 25 years of player feedback and technological advancement from Halo Campaign Evolved. The latter is supported by the team's pivot to Unreal Engine 5, which, with the foundation of Halo's legacy code, will support the game's development. It's not an entirely new ecosystem for Halo Studios. They've dabbled quietly with Unreal projects in the past. That has only reinforced the tools on offer, combined with original resources, are what Halo needs to future-proof itself for the generations to come. I mean, it was already future-proofed when you first had the game, especially in the Master Chief collection. Given that Halo Campaign Evolved is a remake, it is critical that we deliver gameplay that is 100% authentically Halo at its core, says Greg Herman, game director on Halo Campaign Evolved. Correct? Can you do it, though? All of the new content created in Unreal Engine 5 is layered on top of code and systems carried directly over from the original games. That legacy code is instrumental in maintaining that authentic Halo feel within gameplay. It means that Halo Studios can achieve the desired visual goal with Unreal's photorealistic rendering capabilities with the simulation systems of Halo living and breathing behind it, or beneath it, Herman adds. For future titles, we will continue to push the boundaries of technology while ensuring the core Halo gameplay for that game can be seen, felt, heard, and evolved where needed. I keep saying evolved like it's going to be a Pokemon game, which would be funny, actually. How are Halo Studios balancing serving new and core players? Well, the team knows its tools best. It's the Halo community that plays a fundamental role in how Halo Studios moves forward. That's key. You need to understand that to really get anywhere. Our player-first approach, very rare nowadays, so hopefully it nails it, has informed so many decisions for the better. When we introduce new features or make creative choices, we're constantly checking in with players through our user research studies, and our Halo Insider program. Their feedback helps us stay grounded in what feels authentic to Halo. That commitment to player input also extends beyond the studio walls. Halo Combat Evolved, or Campaign, I can't get used to it, will be playable for the first time at the Halo World Championships, giving our players an early hands-on look at how the game is coming along. Halo Campaign Evolved doesn't seek to replace the original game, but instead offer a modern experience that can stand proudly beside it. When new players launch the game for the first time, it must recapture the indescribable feeling of picking up Halo for the first time 25 years ago on the original Xbox. That's the moment we all remember so fondly, a moment that the Halo team recalls as transformative, that it wants to share with us as many players as possible. We're so excited about bringing Halo to those who may not have had a chance to play it in the past, Con adds. At its heart, Halo is about connection. We're thrilled to meet a new generation of players on the platform of choice to fall in love with the Halo the same way we did. We're not trying to rewrite Halo's legacy, we're trying to immerse you in it like never before. This is Halo for everyone. And we'll see how they do. Again, I don't know necessarily if it will come out. And again, they're saying the right things. They're promoting it the right way. The marketing is great. And the pre-alpha footage and stuff looks good. If it goes off without a hitch, and it does what it's supposed to do, and it doesn't add to the story, which they said they weren't going to do, let's see if they stick to that. I mean, obviously, besides the 3 new campaigns that are like a precursor for starting on the Pillar of Autumn, which I don't know how they're going to do that, because if you're on the Pillar of Autumn, you wake up. So maybe it's going to be like they're going to do stuff, and they're going to load you up, put you on the Pillar of Autumn, and then they're going to fly, and then it'll probably transfer over. But it was the tutorial on the Pillar of Autumn, so I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. That'll be an interesting tie-in. But if they do it right, this could be huge. Because we all miss this. And now that's going to be on PS5. It's going to bring in a whole nother freaking player base. I don't necessarily like that it's not exclusive anymore, because it being exclusive is what kept people buying Xboxes. Like, if after, I think it was Reach, after Reach, if 343 didn't screw everything up and Halo kept being a banger, then maybe it would be the reason to buy an Xbox. You put out a Halo game, boom, people go buy an Xbox because they want to play the game. I mean, I bought a PS5 for Stellar Blade and Ghost of Tsushima. Although I bought a PS4 to play Ghost of Tsushima, and then I upgraded to a PS5. So there's that. But I bought a PS5 not to play online. I bought it to play games that I wasn't going to play online. Single player games that I couldn't have access to on PC. Of course, both of those games have come to PC eventually. But I haven't gotten them because they're still a little pricey. And I didn't like how Sony did their Helldivers 2 incident. We'll leave it there. But I enjoy being on the PS5. Probably a little bit more than I enjoy being on the Xbox Series X. Mostly because I was disappointed with the Xbox Series X's backwards compatibility mod. It was big, but not as big as I'd like it to be. And there's a lot of things that it didn't cover that you had to get a special version of things like Fable. You had to have Fable Anniversary. You couldn't just have Lost Chapters. You couldn't have the original. You had to have Anniversary. It didn't work otherwise. So I went out and spent $30 on a game that's 20 some years old, probably 15 to 20 some years old now. What are we doing? Like, and yes, I get that it's old and therefore its value in physical media is great and everything. But $30 to play a game that I already have 2 copies of. I had the original and I had Lost Chapters, but I had to go buy Anniversary, so I have 3 copies of Fable. And I'm going to keep them because they're each individual editions, and that's what it is. But if the other 2 worked, I wouldn't have bought the Anniversary version. Even though Anniversary has more stuff to it and it looks a little nicer, it wasn't necessary. So, be as it may. Hopefully, this will be a good experience. I'll say what I was going to say for another video because I don't want to derail this one. But I am curious about your guys' thoughts. If you could leave your thoughts in the comments below about what you are hoping, what you're expecting. Have you ever played Halo before? Any of the Halo games? Did you like your experience? Did you play the 343 era, the Bungie era? Which era did you play? What was your most fond memories? That kind of a thing. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I have Master Chief Collection, and I thought about going in and playing through that with somebody, and doing some campaign stuff, and great. But it'd be kind of pointless to play the original if they're going to be putting this one out, and it's going to be something people want to see anyway. So I'm probably going to push that off until it comes down the pipe, and then if they don't announce 2, 3, etc., 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 then I'll just play the new version campaign, and then we'll jump to 2 and then 3 on Master Chief Collection, and then work our way up and have fun with that. But yeah, I'm curious about your guys' thoughts. Please let me know. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're not. If you're new here, greetings. Thanks for giving this a shot. And also, check out the description for any content creators suggestions. Check out the Discord, the Twitter. Also check out businesses that are pretty cool businesses that support this corner of the YouTubes and the interwebs. None of them support me through any type of funding, so I'm not saying that because of that. I will let you know if I'm sponsored, but I'm not sponsored by nobody. And I bet it'll be that way for a hot minute. But if it changes, I will be surprised. But I will hopefully be pleasantly surprised, depending on who it is. But just to let you know, I'm not sponsored. I'm not blowing smoke up nobody's butt. I'm just saying I find these people to be interesting content creators. And if you know of somebody who's an interesting content creator or somebody that I should add to the list, please let me know. I'd love to add them. And yeah, we'll go from there. So check out this would be your Friday stream at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Check out the Sunday, or not the stream, video. Check out my Sunday video at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then also check out my live streams on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll play some games, chat with you guys. I'd love to see you guys in chat, and we can talk to each other and everything. I'm on that for usually about 5 hours. It had to change due to watching my kids the following morning. But if that ever changes and I don't have to do that no more, I'll extend it a little bit further, a couple hours on top of that. But if it's going good and I don't want to ruin that, then I'll probably still go a little bit further. But it's not set in stone. But I'd love to see you guys there. Hop in the Discord. You can enjoy some memes because I post a ton of memes. Like, I get complaints about how many memes. They're like, I don't have time to go through all this. There's plenty to look at. And have a good laugh. Also, well, I'm not gonna spoil the entire thing for Discord, but there are some special things you can download there that I have made installation guides for, and they're free games, don't cost anything, and they are legal. But also, you can choose to vote for what you think I should play next for live streams, and we'll go from there. Love to see you guys there and chat with everybody. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, my friends, walk in the light.